It may involve the introduction within the EMB of new strategies, structures, policies, procedures, technical innovations to enable it to implement its legal responsibilities and deliver its services more efficiently, effectively, sustainably. Under political, these are changes that take place in the political environment within which an EMB operates, such as giving it more autonomy or creating a more effective and transparent framework for its funding and accountability, amongst other changes. It's important to note that while an EMB has a key role to play in all electoral reforms, it may not be in a position to implement reform without the support of its key stakeholders, particularly the governance, legislative, and political components. This is a significant reason why EMBs should maintain a strong relationship with their stakeholder. Section 5 of the Electoral Act gives the Commission, the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, additional functions and powers. This section provides that in addition to the functions set out in Section 239 of the Constitution, the Commission is also responsible for undertaking and promoting research in electoral matters, developing expertise and use of technology in regard to electoral processes, promoting cooperation between government, political parties, and civil society in regard to elections, keeping the public informed about various electoral issues, ensuring the mainstreaming of gender into electoral processes, and making recommendations to Parliament on appropriate ways to provide public financing for political parties. Therefore, all stakeholders have a role to play. We are glad that this occasion is also graced by representatives of political parties who are in the legislature. It is our sincere hope that they will participate earnestly in these deliberations and ensure that all the stakeholder views are taken on board. We all have collective responsibility to ensure that whatever we come up with satisfies stakeholder expectations. It is disheartening to note that the 2023 harmonized elections were marred by excessive litigation. While it is every stakeholder's right and it is proper to seek legal recourse, it may also be an indication that we need to put on our thinking caps in order to address all areas that give rise to electoral disputes. In doing this, we should all be guided by the fact that we are all Zimbabweans first, before we become members of EMBs, before we belong to political parties, before we are running CSOs and other institutions. Zimbabwe is a member state to various progressive regional and international conventions on human rights, such as the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, the African Charter on People and Human Rights, and the African Charter on Elections, Democracy and Governance, among others. These conventions give rise to legal obligations which member states must comply with. Today, we hope to address issues that give rise to criticism towards our electoral processes. In doing so, we should always remember that we did not get our independence on a silver plate. The price of today's democracy was the blood of the brave sons and daughters of Zimbabwe who decided to take up arms against the then white settler regime. Therefore, we need to guard our hard-won independence and freedom jealously. This can be achieved by making progressive reforms that guarantee a good future for generations to come. It is trite that elections are not a war, but are simply a process that we have chosen to use to select our leaders. There is therefore no need for elections to divide our nation into camps. As the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, we call upon all stakeholders to put differences aside and to decide for our nation what is good for it and for its future. We have Zimbabwe to protect, and we all need to come to the table to deliberate and make framework propositions that improve our electoral processes. As we move forward, we need to dwell more on our strengths while we endeavor to address issues that divide us as a nation. We are here to listen to you and to correct any misconceptions that may have been peddled during the electoral processes. We also need to take cognizance of the fact that we have already lost some time in terms of the electoral cycle. There's need to prepare for the 2028 harmonized election, and this begins now by reviewing what we have completed in the past. In conclusion, the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission will not take lightly the deliberations of this workshop.